Hi friends, welcome to the preliminary recap of Miss Grand International 2025. As you can see, I am in the bathroom of a hotel lobby due to my travel schedule. So we're gonna go through this episode very quickly because I only have a little bit of time before I have to jump on a flight. Of course, we're gonna start with swim. First of all, love the little opening dance, and then I also really like these swimsuits specifically on this stage. This wouldn't be a swimsuit that I would think would look that great on stage, but with the LED backgrounds, I think that it really fit with the theme this year. I'm going to share with you my standout performances beginning with Angola. Love the hair, love the body, her walk was fabulous. She had a wonderful crossover movement in her footwork, and she also had great hip movement. I love to see that for swim. Honestly, favorite performance from her from the competition. Argentina, really beautiful face on stage, absolutely love her. This is a very difficult competition. Honestly, I feel like this is really going to come down to the fan votes. Armenia is fun, and this is another contestant where I feel like this is the strongest performance that we've seen from her. She also did this little fun boxing movement on stage, and that's something we can see at Grand, so I feel like this made her stand out. Brazil looks so grand with this hairstyle, very beautiful, although I did love her straight hair for the other swim competition. I like this performance. I do feel like it was a little bit safe, and we could have seen a more grand movement in the arms, the posing, or something, just a little extra. Colombia, very charming smile. I love that. Some of the contestants didn't smile as much, but she did. She is really cute. She had such a fun performance, and this performance was also very grand for me in its style. Cuba, wow, the body, okay? Stunning. The hair was perfect. I really liked the performance. I like how she did her little one grand gesture. I just wish she would have smiled a little bit more. We were only at Czech Republic, and let me tell you, these ladies were on fire. Oh my gosh, what a solid performance from her. She has been one of my favorites throughout the competition, and I feel like she really showed up for prelims. Dominican Republic, love this glam on her. I think honestly the glam teams, whether the ladies are doing it themselves or whoever was working with them, are doing such a fantastic job for this show overall. So beautiful. I like this. I wish she would have just given us a few more facial transitions during the performance. France, cute little flower in her hair. She's also been one of my favorites. I really like her, especially because we just don't see as many representatives from Europe entering a top 20 in various international pageants, so I'm a big fan. Ghana started off really strong with her #1 grand sign, and I loved this. There was so much creativity in this walking routine. It was just filled. There was never a dull moment in it, and she has been somebody that stood out to me throughout the entire competition. I just feel like she's really grown throughout this entire experience. What I love about Guatemala is that she has this signature pose where she places one arm behind her back and kind of pops the knee and gives us a lean, and I love that. It is so memorable for her, but she is so beautiful. Definitely a top competitor. I can at least see her in a top 20. Honestly, it's so competitive. I know that there's going to be some surprises for finals. Indonesia has been a top pick for me, but I was surprised by this performance. I was hoping for a little bit more creativity, but I'm still rooting for her because I think she's such a solid competitor. Kazakhstan. The face, the walk, her little posing combo, I would love to see a placement for her. Kyrgyzstan also had a really cute posing combo. I love the variations that we see in Grand. It's just a little bit more than any other system that competes at an international level, and it's fun to watch. Absolutely obsessed with Laos's energy. I really hope that she is not forgotten in the mix because it is so competitive. I don't hear enough people talking about her, but I think that the walk was fabulous. The energy is what stood out, and then the posing was there as well. Martinique, I need her to walk for the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Yes. How can we submit a request? Because I just love her vibe so much. Absolutely beautiful, great walk. What more can I say? She's just a standout. Mexico, and the look that she gives the camera makes my heart race. Oh my gosh. Absolutely love. She is one of the strongest competitors for Grand Mexico, in my opinion, and I'm really rooting for her. She's fabulous. I love that Peru is just making it work. She's got that knee brace on, and you know what? If you just watch this from the waist up, you probably wouldn't even notice that she had the knee brace. She was really emphasizing the facials instead, and she's stunning, so I'm rooting for her. Philippines, her experience shines through. She is literally perfect. I think that she is one of the most precise contestants when it comes to all of her routines. What I like so much is that she's never overshooting anything. Grand is an over-the-top organization in terms of how the women present their routines, but she is right in that sweet spot for me always, and especially here. Puerto Rico had a beautiful performance. I do feel like this routine though was very safe. This is something we could have seen at Miss Universe, and I think she might need a little bit more for Grand, so Fingers crossed. South Africa, for me, best performance I've seen from her. Absolutely love the glam. I think this was a really strong opening, and I think that the walk was there, the energy was there. She's one of my favorites for swim. I just have to say, I'm not sure if it'll happen, but I do think that South Korea is one of the strongest South Korean representatives I've ever seen in international pageantry. So it wouldn't surprise me to see her in a top 20. Spain, oh my gosh, what do I even say about these contestants this year? I have more than a favorite top 20, so things are really going to come down to that final night when we finally get to narrow it down and then just have a better understanding of who Miss Grand likes and who Nawat likes. And so it's going to be very, very telling during finals night. But she's stunning. Her hair and her makeup is always on point. The walk is there, always giving us a grand performance. So I'm excited for her. Tanzania is like a Barbie, and the crowd was loving her. I'm so glad because I've been loving her throughout this entire competition. I would love to see her advancing past that top 20 placement into at least our 10, and it would be cool to see her in a top 5 because we don't see Tanzania placed very often internationally. Thailand's opening pose is a pose that my knees could never do. So I love the creativity from her. She really, really nailed this. This, I think, was one of the strongest swim performances of prelims. I just feel like every single moment she had really great eye contact. All of her movement was precise. All of the transitions were really lovely. And she was just delivering a very fun and entertaining performance. UK, I love how her suit was styled a little bit different from everybody else's. I also love that her eyes pop a bit more just because of the color of the swimsuit. But she looks great. I'm definitely rooting for her, and I really, really loved her interview. I know that I look for different things than Nawat does, but I really enjoyed her. But I really enjoyed her throughout the competition, and I hope that we're going to see a placement. USA started with a hair flip, and I have to say, I think that her hair and her makeup every single day for every event is so on point. It's so consistent. I love it. I love the energy that she's bringing for us. I think she's a really competitive representative from the USA, so I'm excited for her, and I'm just crossing my fingers for a placement. Venezuela, the spin turn. The face, there was just this wonderful, lovely moment at the beginning. She is a true Venezuelan beauty. She was just so gorgeous and stunning. Definitely a big favorite of mine. I hope that she does really, really well for finals. Zambia is glowing. The straight hair also gives me Lalela vibes, which I absolutely love. She is just so beautiful, and I think that she's brought out a really great performance, and I also liked her interview as well, so we'll see what Nawat thinks. I also really loved CJ's highlighter yellow-green gown. I thought it looked fabulous on her, and the gloves were a nice touch. Brazil's gown scared me a little bit at first, and then I was so glad that the center was actually a fan that she removed. Very cool. Love the color yellow on her. It gives me kind of Princess Belle vibes with the combo of her hair. She's lovely, although for finals, I'd love to see her in something that's going to make her eyes stand out a bit more. Colombia, I don't know who styled this, but really, really great job. I love the color combination. It's unique. The gown fitted her body perfectly. This was an effortless performance, and I just think that she's solidifying her spot in the top 20 for me at least. Cuba, oh my gosh, these gown designers are absolutely incredible. I don't even know what to expect every year. Also, love the look in her eyes here. She had a great connection with the camera and the audience, and I really like her grand pose. It was just such a nice touch. Czech Republic, I love pink for pageants. And let me say this, I like the performance, I like the walk, I like all of that. But at the end, I was like, why couldn't this just have been a gown? Why? It's an evening gown competition. Wear a jumpsuit any other time, please. But either way, let's see how she does. She's been doing very well in the competition. Dominican Republic was very cool. You see so much stuff at Grand. She was literally dressed as the Miss Grand trophy with that little flag kind of piece coming up like their crowns. So cool. Beautiful performance. Love the hairstyle change for gown 2. Well done. France, thank God that she was in color. Oh my gosh, I was worried about that. I think that the pastel is really nice on her. I want to continue to see her in color. I do, however, think that the fabric of this gown was a little bit bulky, and I would have loved for that to have somehow been thinned out a little bit, but nice performance, and she's very elegant. Of course she is. She's Miss France. Ghana's gown was incredible. I started seeing this gown reposted online even before I got to watch the show, which I was like, oh no. But it's the grand colors. I love the neckline. Really loved the drape beading on this. The sashes of chiffon. It was just so well done, and you could see the amount of rehearsal that went into this routine, and I just think she nailed it. She better be advancing. No less than top 5. Guatemala's gown had the grand colors, and the gown also cinched in her waist so beautifully. The gown style itself was simple. It wasn't over the top. It was super elegant. It looked lovely on stage, but really the focus was all on her, and I love that. I've been hearing from a lot of people she's a big favorite for everyone, and I can see why. India's performance for gown was my favorite from her from the entire competition. This is what I wanted to see prior to prelims. I will say I feel like wearing a fire-inspired gown is a little bit of a risk because you're going to get those Catriona comparisons, but either way, I thought that the gown style was really beautiful, and even the flames on the chiffon, everything was well rehearsed and well timed with that exact gown, so I really loved it. Jamaica selected a wonderful gown for her and her body. I also love the hairstyle change, and she walked effortlessly in this gown. I believe Kazakhstan's gown was one of the gowns that I loved at Miss Universe Thailand, but the contestant that wore it wore her hair up for prelims in a bun, and that still stands. I still prefer the bun to hair down in this, but either way, it's a wonderful evening gown choice. She really shined in this, and I would love to see a placement for her. Laos. Love this color combo. Love the sleeves. They were so cool. I just thought that it added an extra element to her performance that helped to make her stand out. Sleeves were working for her and they weren't distracting for her, and I feel like that's a key for a great performance. Martinique. Love this. I love just the kind of 3D applique effect that we're seeing in this gold gown, and the gold looks so beautiful against her skin tone, and the performance was very, very elegant, as well as all of the posing. Next to go, one of our few contestants that actually wore feathers for this competition. We're seeing kind of a departure from that look. So at first I thought she was actually wearing this giant feather boa, which I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. We've seen all kinds of boas, but a giant feather one. Then she dropped it when she got started at the back of the runway, and then we realized that it was actually a giant feather train. So different interpretation of this, love it. The gown itself I think was pretty safe, but the performance was there, and she was just stunning. Paraguay really delivers in red, I have to say that. I just feel like she shines in this color. Also, I think that the performance was there too, so I'm wondering how she's doing in the fan votes and how Nawat's feeling about her. Peru, really cool kind of caged effect of this gown, and then I like how it had a very subtle kind of reveal. I haven't seen something quite like this yet at a competition, but it's grand, so we expect these types of things. I think that she did really, really well, and I was impressed that she threw on a pair of heels for this. Philippines had super cool exaggerated sleeves, and honestly, this is a moment I was waiting for from her. I've commented in the past how I felt like her gowns in her grand journey were actually very simple and very understated, and I was just like waiting for this moment where we would see something from her that would be a little bit more grand and over the top, and we got that moment, and honestly, I just feel like she nailed her evening gown competition. Puerto Rico, beautiful walk, very, very elegant, great gown choice and styling for her. I still feel like it was a little bit safe though. South Africa kind of opened with this I Dream of Jeannie pose. If y'all have seen that show before, I think that this performance was very, very grand. She did a lot to work the chiffon in a great way that also wasn't distracting, but it complemented her performance. And so I think that she did a fabulous job. Spain, absolutely love this color combo on her. Oh my gosh, love the face, her smile. If this doesn't work out for her, I gotta see her compete somewhere else. Tanzania had a great gown choice. It really accentuated her waist. It's a very appropriate style for this competition. The hair was incredible. I wish that the earrings were gold and a little bit smaller though. Thailand, whoa, very unique headpiece. We've seen headpieces like this on couture runway shows, but I actually really liked it for the evening gown competition, and just the way that she presented herself in this gown with all of the arm movements, and it really complemented the draped beading. It was lovely. UK's gown actually reminded me of a garden, and the coolest thing I think about it was a great and elegant performance, but at the end she actually was able to remove one of the roses. I was like, oh, this is so creative. I wonder what she's gonna bring for finals. USA, I loved this gown and the color combo. It just looked so grand. I feel like the hair and the makeup was perfect on her, and she delivered a strong performance. The last time I saw Miss Venezuela in a green that was kind of like this was in 2022 at Miss Universe for prelims. It was risky then. I still feel like it's a very risky color. The gown from the front reminds me of other styles of gowns that we've seen at Miss Venezuela, but the open back I think makes it a lot sexier for grand, and I especially love the really unique collar on the neckline, and of course her performance. Y'all know I'm a big fan of her. Zambia. So first things first, I don't love colored tulle as a panel for a neckline in a gown. I just don't really love it on the neck or chest or sleeves, usually. So that disappointed me a little bit, but I thought that her walk was so good, so elegant, her pose, all of that, and she's just so stunning. So I am still rooting for her. So those are my thoughts for the preliminary competition, and I'll do my best to get you the finals recap as soon as I can. I'll see you soon.